The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates. It does not necessarily reflect the views of WDEL or Forever Media. Rick Jensen on 1150 AM, 1017 FM, WDEL.
You know, I guess when you retire, it makes sense that you're pulling money out of savings in your retirement account, right? But right now, as reading from a number of, the Bureau of Labor, for example, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, saying that Americans right now are pulling money out of their savings accounts. Well, because of inflation, and we're looking at an oncoming recession and such. Whereas what we really need to be doing is putting money in. But it brings a question, and I want to ask this of Dan White, who's on the phone. Dan is a financial planner specializing in retirement income. I've been a client for many years, and I'm very, very happy. In fact, I've probably annoyed many of you listeners with the story of how he saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars in my retirement account just for giving me good advice, you know, before the market just collapsed. And he and I were talking about a number of different things. And I took all of that, and I made my own decision to pull like 80% of my money that was in the markets and put that into cash, at least for now. And I did, and it saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars of my, rollover 401k monies that I had over the years. So the last thing I want to do is be working for a living and pulling money out. We need to be putting money into our retirement accounts. And I'm wondering, and this is what I'm going to ask Dan when he gets on, I'm wondering if you have, like, in addition to or instead of, in lieu of a 401k, does it make more sense to have a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA? And what does it mean when it's time to take money out and you really don't want to even? So Dan's on the phone right now. And Dan, I appreciate you being on, sir. I hope you're well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rick.
Sure. So I don't know if you heard what I was talking about, but people are pulling more money out of savings than putting it in now. And I'm thinking, well, even if you're of retirement age, when you're legally allowed to bring money out of your retirement monies, but maybe you're still working, we want to put more money in. But let's say that somebody's like, 45 years old, and they figure in about 20 years, something like this could happen again, and maybe they're still working. So if you look towards the future, would it make more sense to be in a regular traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, especially if you find yourself in a situation like we have now economically 20 years from now?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I mean, it really boils down to what tax bracket are you in now and what tax bracket do you think you're going to be in retirement. We all think taxes are going to have to go up. But if you're in a high bracket now, I mean, you're going to put money away in the traditional IRA or the traditional 401k to reduce your tax liability. I'd always counsel young people now, if you're young and you're not in a very high tax bracket, then by all means do the Roth. But it really depends on, do you have a pension at your workplace and what kind of bracket are you going to be in retirement to determine which type of contribution you ought to be making.
Gotcha. At what age can people start taking money out now? Basically, 62, 65?
Well, 59 and a half is traditionally for the pre-tax money, you're always looking at 59 and a half. If you take it out prior to that, there are some exceptions, but if you don't fall into one of the exception categories, then you're going to be hit with that 10% early withdrawal penalty.
Okay. Because I was thinking, if you have people now who are like, say, 60, 62 years old, they're still working, but they got to take money out of savings, it might make more sense to have a Roth IRA than a traditional IRA if you're still working, you're 62, and you got to take money out just because the cost of living is so high.
Yeah, I mean, if you take money out of the Roth, you're not going to be taxed on it. And now's the season where we're getting a lot of calls on making IRA contributions. And, the beauty of the Roth is you don't get the deduction up front. This is what I was talking about as far as the tax bracket. But all the money that comes out of the Roth is going to be tax-free. That being said, there's 5 things you need to know before you make a Roth IRA contribution. You need to know the maximum contribution. So in 2022, if you're making it for 2022 and you're under 50, the max is $6,000. Now, if you reached age 50 in 2022, you're eligible for the $1,000 catch-up. You can go up to $7,000. Now, the other caveat is it doesn't matter whether it's a traditional or a Roth. The max is $7,000. I mean, you could do 4 in a traditional, 3 in a Roth, 3 in a traditional, 4 in a Roth, but 7 is the max. No matter what type of IRA you're contributing to.
Gotcha.
You also have to be aware of the deadline. The deadline for contributing for 2022 is going to be April the 18th. Even if you have an extension to file your taxes, that doesn't give you any more time to make the contribution. So April 18th is the drop-dead date to get that contribution in for last year. Another thing that people overlook a lot of times, especially retirees, you have to have taxable compensation. You have to have worked and had some earned income in order to make an IRA contribution. So investment income, pension, Social Security income, none of that counts. Somebody had to pay you to do something, and you earned some money in order for you to contribute to a retirement account. We talked about eligibility. So you're never too old to contribute to an IRA or a Roth. There's no age limit. You have to have the earned income. And then if you are in a retirement plan at work, that's not a problem, but then you have to look at your income level. It has to be under a certain level in order for you to do a Roth contribution. And then the last thing you want to keep in mind is report the contribution. Let your IRA custodian know the year, because right now we're in that dual period where it could be a 2022 or it could be a 2023 contribution. Just let your IRA custodian know what year you're putting the money away for.
Good stuff. Thanks, Dan. You can reach Dan White at 888-690-8820. And he's not going to charge you. Just, talk about your financial situation and what your goals are, what your dreams are, and he can help guide you to get there. 888-690-8820. They have offices in, Glen Mills, right up the road on 202, and also in Middletown as well. Plus, you host On the Money Sunday mornings at 7. What's on tap for this Sunday?
I wish I could tell you, Rick. I don't have my notes in front of me here.
Good.
So you're just going to have to be surprised. You're just going to have to tune in at 7:05 and be surprised.
We will. I got a brand new drip coffee maker. Sit there at 7 o'clock in the morning, have that and a little bit of breakfast and enjoy it. Thanks so much, Dan. Be well, my friend.
Have a good day, Rick.
And go Phils. All right. 302-529-1017. He's a huge Phillies fan.